Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, whenever you're watching this. Here's our answers for our test review. As you're looking at the first one here, we've got select all statements that are true. A, negative 9.5 plus 4.5. If I simplify negative 9.5, that's negative 4.5 plus 4.5, which equals 0. And that is not neither negative or positive. It equals 0. Notice that the D and E we have equal to 0. So if that's not 0, if it's not negative or positive, that is not an option. So A is not an option. B, sorry, I'm going to clear my selection here first. B, negative 3 plus negative 20 over 5. Negative 20 over 5 is the same as negative 4. Negative 3 minus negative 4, negative. Two negatives equal a positive. So is it negative? It is not. B doesn't work. Keep going. Negative 4.5 plus negative 7.8. Well, a positive and a negative plus minus is equal to a negative. So this just becomes negative 4.5 minus 7.8, which is going to be a bigger negative. So C also is not true. Keep going. Negative 1/4 plus negative 1/4. That's 1/4 minus a fourth. Does that equal 0? It doesn't. That would equal. Oh, sorry. Yes, it is. That's positive 1/4. Sorry. Yes. That is an acceptable answer. 1/4 minus 1/4 plus a negative is equal to 0. That's correct. This is the one I was thinking of. Negative 3/4 plus negative 3/4. That's negative minus another number. That equals not 0. And then finally, we have 50 minus negative 14. Two negatives make a positive. That is 50 plus 14 is negative. No. So the only acceptable answer in this case is D. Good job. Okay, on to our next one. I'm going to go here. Okay, we've got select all the true again here. As we go through this first one, the difference of the dragonfly, which is 3 feet above the lake, so plus 3. Difference means subtraction, and the sunfish is 4 feet below. 3 minus negative 4 is 3 plus 4, which equals positive 7. That says negative 7. No, thank you. We'll keep going. Dragonfly and the sunfish, since we said that this is a positive 7. Okay, positive 7. We know that this one has to be correct then. So B, yes, selectable answer. The distance, remember, distance is always positive. So it's negative 7 feet. No, distance is always positive. So it can't be negative. It would have to be a positive 7 feet. So that one doesn't work either. The difference between the eagle and the sunfish. Sorry, I know I'm going fast here. I have a limited time to screen record here. You can always go back and pause and rewind this video if you need to. The difference between the eagle and the sunfish. The eagle is 75 feet above. Difference means subtract. Sunfish is negative 4. 75 negative is plus. 75 plus 4, which equals 79. Positive. That's a negative, so no, thank you. The difference is positive. We just learned that. Yes. And then the distance is a positive 79. Distance is always positive. So yes. So our answers in this one are B, E, and F. B, E, and F. Good job. On to slide 3 here. We've got, let's pick a different color now. Select which ones have a negative value. X is negative, Y is negative. So a negative times a negative is a positive, not a negative. Doesn't work. X divided by Y, negative divided by a negative is positive, not negative. Again, positive is positive. Negative is positive. And then opposite signs are negative. That's what we're looking for. X plus Y, that would be negative 3/8 plus a negative, so minus 5/8. That's just going to get smaller. That one's actually negative. Good job here. This one works. Let's give that a good old check mark. And then lastly, X minus Y, X minus a negative, which is a plus, and this is a bigger number, so that's going to be a positive here. It's not going to work. Ends up being negative 3/8 plus 5/8, because we have two negatives, and that's going to go bigger to a positive 2/8. So no, that one does not work. Only acceptable answer here is C. And I know you got that right. Good job. Number 4. Let's go to purple. If I can get purple here with my pen. There we go. Calculate these out. First one, we are going to do negative 12 over 1 times negative 3 over 4. Well, we know it's going to be a positive answer because two negatives. 12 times 3 is 36. 4 times 1 is 4. And we simplify that down to 9. A is 9. B, same numbers, but the second number is positive. So what happens if you do a negative times a positive? You end up with just a negative 36 divided by 4, and we get negative 9. So B is, put that over here to save some space, negative 9. C, negative 24 divided by 6, negative 24 divided by 6. One negative means negative. 24 divided by 6 is 4. So C is negative 4. And then lastly, two negatives. This is a positive 4. Positive 4. You don't have to write the positive part, just the number 4. First one was positive 9. Second one was negative 9, negative 4, positive 4. We're moving on. All right, we're going to fill in some blanks here. Let's go with pink. Hey, we are taking 4 different accounts. They don't roll over to the next one, just their fourth account. First number says $450. We spent $142. We ended with $308. Next one, $275. We did something, and we ended with $386. So we got bigger from our original balance to our final balance. So we're adding something, and what are we going to add? Well, to figure that out, we take 386 and we subtract 275, and we end up with $111, and that's what's going to go here, $111. Excuse me. Second one, kind of a similar concept. I'm going to clear my selection here. I'm just going to put 111 back in here for us. 48 minus 120. You can use a calculator for that, but the way I would do this is I would take 120, and I'm going to subtract 48, actually. And what I end up with, I get a 10, that's 2. I have a 1 left here. 11 minus 4 is 7. I'm going to end up with, if I go from 48, I take away 120, I'm going to get a balance of negative $72. And noticing that I had a smaller original value and I spent more than I had. And then lastly, we have something plus 48 equals 16. So we got some money, but it's less money in our final account. So that means this has to be a negative number. Well, how do I figure that out? I'm just going to take 48 and subtract 16 here. 48 minus 16 to find this number. That's 2. That's 3. That means we had negative $32. This is a spot where you kind of do a sanity check about your numbers. Is my number going to be a negative or a positive? Is my final number bigger? Well, we got to add something. Okay. Is my spending more than what I have? Got to have a negative number. Is my final balance smaller than what I got? That means I had a debt. Okay. And that's kind of what our next question asks here. It says, well, explain these numbers. Well, here we had a debt. This was a debt of $48. This was a deposit of $50. And this is a final balance I now have plus $2. You can write that in your own words there. Okay? You had a debt of $48. You deposited $50. You ended with a positive value. Again, oops, just trying to go through a little quick because I'm running out of time here on my video. Let's go to blue. All right. Well, we know at the Como Zoo there's a tank. It holds 500 gallons of water, but when we come, there's 300 gallons in the tank, and we ended with 270. We want to know how fast that's going out. So what you want to find out is the difference between what is originally there and then how much is left. And when we do that, we end up with 30 gallons in the tank. Well, we need to take that 30 gallons and divide that by how long it was that we watched water go out. And that equals 7.5. What is that? 7.5 what? Gallons per minute, because that was 4 minutes. So we found our difference, figured out how many gallons we actually lost. Okay, and then we divide our rate to find our rate. 7.5 gallons per minute. Well, let's take that 7.5 gallons and say, how much longer will it take to get out? So we take what we have in the tank, that 270, and we divide it by our rate of 7.5 gallons per minute. We divide those out, we end up with 36 minutes, and it will empty. After 36 minutes, that's 7.5 gallons per minute. Hey, well, we want to know how many minutes before Kiki arrived did this tank start draining. So how many minutes was it from 500 to 300? So again, we're going to find our difference, which should be pretty easy. That should equal 200 gallons we lost. And we know they leave at 7.5 gallons per minute, so we're going to divide 200 by 7.5, and that's going to equal a total of 40 minutes. And that's our answer. Found our difference between the two. How much did we lose? And in that 200, we lost 7.5 per minute to end up with 40 minutes. Hey, if you have any other questions about this, please feel free to reach out on Schoology. I know you're going to do awesome. You can print out that paper and fill in that work, so you can use it as a note card on